Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Somrwita Ghosh and I'm from the Department of English and today's topic is report writing. So you must have heard about business reports, about medical reports, about news report. Now what is this report? So a report is a specific form of writing which is organized around identifying and examining issues, events or findings from a research investigation. Now, before I go on to discuss, let me show you a sample. Now, this is a news report on a IPL final match. So you look at the heading Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals final match IPL Finals 2020. So by the byline, this is by the person who is reporting the report and then the date and where it is taking place, like in Mumbai. So, the very first paragraph, the introduction. You see, the IPL finals were played at the Wankhede Stadium on Saturday. So, in the very first sentence, you see, it is mentioned where which place the IPL finals took place and the day, and then which are the teams which participated, like the Mumbai Indians and the Delhi Capitals. So, you see the general ambience in the stadium. The stadium was flooded by thousands of spectators who had gathered to cheer the respective teams. So, for the final match, the umpires reached the field. Mumbai Indians won the toss. Both the teams were playing carefully. So, in the very first introduction, you see all the details of the where it is being played, which are the teams playing, and so these are the specific details which are mentioned in the first paragraph. Next, you see the body. Here you find the description of the key points, the turning point of the matches is described here. So you see the opening batsman Rohit hit a four and kept playing till the seventh over when Krunal Pandya was caught out behind. The score of Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals stood at 45 by 1. So this was one of the key points, the turning point in the match. Next, you see, needing 145 runs to win the final, Mumbai Indians were off to a great start as Rohit completed 3000 runs, taking the score to 67 by 1. So these are some of the key points or the turning points in the match which is described here. Next, similarly, you see how Surya Kumar replaced Krunal as Delhi Capitals bowled three tight overs, hitting the spinner for two sixes. So Mumbai Indians moved closer to 92 at halfway of the chase. So these are some of the turning point in the matches which are discussed in these two paragraphs. And the concluding section, you see, we can find out like how the match concluded and who won the match. So you can see in the last concluding paragraph that these two players they picked 4 wickets, while one of the player they took the team home with 8 balls. So the bowler who has performed well. So Mumbai Indians pinned into attack in the fifth over. Delhi Capitals brought a century in the 14th, dismissing Iyer. So this is how the game ended, and finally Mumbai Indians beat Delhi Capitals by 5 wickets in the Dream 11 IPL League of 2020 finals. Now coming back to what is the report. Now, as you have seen this example, that this report has a very formal structure, and the language it is written very consciously and clearly. And you also have seen that how it is summarized. The information has been summarized. It's not like you are mentioning all what had happened in the match. It's like you are taking the turning points in the match, you summarize them. So the information has been summarized here. And the focus is on, as I said, it's always on the key points. So when you summarize, you focus on the key points. Next is you have seen in the very first introduction. I'll go back again to that slide. In the very first introduction, you see that in the introduction it is like, as I mentioned before also, that where it is being played, on which day, then between who are the teams been playing and who won the toss. So everything is arranged, and then in the body, in the next paragraph, you see the details, the turning points in the matches, those are mentioned. So you can see that this only the key points have been focused, and it are presented in a very organized manner in a sequence. It's like one after the other. Okay. Next is, what is the purpose of this kind of a report? Now the purpose is to provide information, like here you're providing information, okay, and documenting the events and to identify the problems and provide opportunities for improvement, etc. For example, if you look at a medical report, the doctor examines the patient. Okay, he looks at the symptoms, then he looks at what are the tests have done, what are the results. Based on that, he produces a report. So that provides an opportunity for improvement. Similarly, you see a police report where, based on the circumstantial evidences and all, they produce a report, and that helps in the further investigation. Now, what is the format of the report? I'll go back again to the sample. First is the heading. So, heading is a descriptive title which is expressive of the contents of the report. Now, look at the sample again. So, it is about an IPL match, Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals. It's a final IPL match held in the year 2020. So, the heading gives you all the necessary information in a short way. So this is a descriptive title which is expressive of the contents of the report. So sometimes, when we go through the newspaper, we don't read the entire news. We just scan through it and we read the headlines. So, and we have an idea about what the content will be. So the heading should be important. It is a descriptive title which is expressive of the contents of the report. Next is the byline. It means the name of the person who is writing the report. So by this news reporter whose name is mentioned here. Next is the place and date of reporting. Now, you see it is reported 12th February. So this event has occurred maybe on 11th, and this news is being reported on 12th February 2020 and from Mumbai. Next is the introduction. As I said, again go back to the sample. So you see, like, the introduction consists of the 5 W's: what, why, when, where, and who. So what is it? It's an IPL final, and where? It's in Wankhede Stadium. So who are the teams like Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals? And then when was it happening? It was happening on Saturday. So these are the things you have to remember. In the introduction, you have to mention this. Next comes the body. Now, the body is the account of the event in detail, the proper sequence of events that occurred along with the description. So, the main paragraph can be split into 2 paragraphs if required. So, you see here in this example, it has been split into 2 paragraphs. So, you just mention the key points, the turning point in the matches, those are mentioned here. You don't have to mention every detail. Next is the concluding paragraph. So this is a description of how it ended, who played so well, who took the 4 wickets, and in the last overs, the cricket matches are very interesting. So those those key points, those turning points, you have to mention there. And you see, this is a report, so the event have already happened, so you're reporting it, so it is always written in past tense and in a third person. So you are not sharing your personal opinion, so it is written in third person and in past tense. There is another example. This is about a traffic jam and nuisance on roads. Similarly, this is by the byline. There's who is the person reporting this news and the date and the place. So in the very first introduction, you mentioned on which day, and so in the city, where is this thing happening, in the 2 major suburbs of a city, where a real chaos in the form of traffic jam. So thousands. So you mention like where it is happening, what is the situation. So you mention it in the introduction. Next, you see. It was 5 p.m. in the evening, and the office goers, the school buses of various schools and traders, along with many others, were returning from the busy road. So you see, it doesn't start with the what happened at the end, but starts in, there's an order, there's a sequence in it. So it was around 5 p.m. So when, especially when the office goers, when the school buses and traders, along with many others, they're returning, and they're using this kind of a busy route. And so you see the following lines, how the traffic was running smoothly, and then it came to an abrupt halt. There was an utter confusion. So it is again following a step by step in a sequence. So what happens, especially in a traffic, you must be familiar with this kind of an experience. How anger erupted among many, and then you mentioned those few points. How the things were slowly, how the problem was escalating, and then there was heated talk. Several came out from the vehicles in anger, etc. So you mention a few things. And then you see the second paragraph. Then some excited youngster jumped into the scene and began clearing the scene. So from that scene, the shift is like how people are trying to resolve this issue. So that is the next point. So they reached at the place where the hall began, and then the main thing, why was this there was this huge crowd, because there was a person who was wounded, and he was found in a damaged car. So this is a gradual unfolding of the events. You do not start with the person who was injured and he was in a damaged car. So first it's like in a sequence, as if you are witnessing it. So you are reporting it, or you are, as a reader, you are reading it. So it's in an order. So, and see what happens, that there is ambulance was called, and ambulance arrived, and then in the concluding section you see how the traffic was cleared, and finally what happened, how did the thing ended. The injured person was taken in the ambulance, the damaged car was picked up by the police, and the traffic moved. So how the issue was resolved, you mention it in the last concluding paragraph. There is another example. This is about a science fair. You can also discuss about any cultural fest in a college. So this is about a science fair at school. So similarly, if you just report about any kind of an event, any cultural event or any kind of social event, so which has happened. So you can start with when, where was it organized, and who are the participants, what was the aim to organize such kind of an event, and what is the purpose of this kind of a event. And so in this, in again, in the body, you can just actually discuss about what was this what are the things, like this is a science fair. So the items were displayed in the fair. So if it's a cultural fest, you can talk about the different programs put up by the different clubs or different students, different class. So you can mention it, and you can give a few examples which you found was in which you found very interesting. So you can mention this. So this is about a science fair. So there's a few there's like the mention of the steam engine, space rocket, different charts, skeleton, microscope, many other wonderful models. So these models were displayed. So these are mentioned. You can mention all this. So the students were excited and confident telling about their items. So usually the students give a demonstration, people who come from outside. So this is the general ambience. So you can discuss the few, take the key points, summarize it. You don't have to write everything, but you take the key points, you summarize it. And then the school principal delivered a speech and encouraged the students to organize such events every year. Now, in the concluding section, you can also, quote from the principal's speech, like anything whatever he said, like you can mention like one or two sentences. You can quote from some excerpts also. So in the conclusion, you can mention that. So you can say that this was an amazing and informative fair for students as well as people who came from outside. So why should this kind of fairs be organized, or this kind of fest for culture program? So you can mention like, why do you think it should be organized? How does it help? So this is all about report writing, and thank you.